Yes, I'm going to jump on the Madame Web critique train, but listen to me. This is not going to be one of those negative reviews where this is a clever way of telling you why I didn't like it, because I don't like those movie reviews all the time. I don't like people that just do negative movie reviews just for followers. So people suck. So I'm an optimistic nerd. I like a lot of things. Okay, I own a physical copy of the female Ghostbusters movie because I think it's funny. And if you don't think it's a funny movie, then I kind of think you're the basement dwelling incel and your mom said your macaroni and cheese is done. Ma! Give me some mac and cheese! I gotta be on the internet. Tell people how I hate a movie with female people. Marvels is coming up. All right. So, that said, it's not a great movie. I think it's better than Morbius. But I'm going to give you reasons why I didn't think it was good. Now, I'm also going to explain the entire movie. So if you haven't seen it, take that as you will. If you have seen it, follow along. All right, here's the deal. I don't remember names that well. I just got out of it, and I only remember two names. Cassie Webb, because web and spiders, and Ben Parker, because the word Ben is said 3,000 times in this movie. Ben. Cassie says the name Ben, reminds Ben of his own name in a conversation at least 5 or 6 times. Hey, Ben, what do you have? Ben, can't believe... one time she calls him an a-hole, but other than that, it's Ben 1,000 times. Pepsi. So, that said, here's the movie. Now, in the 70s, Mustache Spider-Man, he is out with Cassie's mom, and Cassie's mom is pregnant with Cassie. All right, she's out studying spiders in the Amazon because that's what pregnant women do. So she finds a spider with special powers that no one's ever heard of except for her. So she finds a spider and puts it in a jar, and then Mustache Spider-Man wrestles with this woman who's 80 pounds, soaking wet, pregnant, can't wrestle a jar out of her hand, so he has to shoot her. And then he also offs a couple other people because he's the bad guy, and that's what he's got to do. And then he runs off with this spider in a jar. Now, years later, we meet Cassie. Cassie's an awful person. Cassie's an EMT who doesn't like families, she doesn't like children, and she thinks everybody's gross, except for Ben. She likes Ben, but she one time called him an a-hole, but that's fine, because they're co-workers. So, the funniest part of the movie comes up when Cassie's invited to a gender reveal party. I've never been invited to a gender reveal party, because I've apparently done something good in my life. So she's invited, and the funniest part of the movie is when she talks about how her mom died giving birth. That's the funniest part of the movie and made me laugh out loud. When Cassie talks about how her mom died giving birth. I'm not making fun of that event. It's truly awful, but I'm telling you, that's the funniest part of this movie. So after that, she starts to have these visions, these weird visions. And we find out that Mustache Spider-Man is also having visions. He's had visions for years of visions of 3 women that are trying to come and unalive him. All right? So much so that here's the deal. He says they're coming after him to unalive him. Just don't go after them. The only reason they go after him is because he goes after them. Just the moral of the movie is don't be a dick. If he didn't go after them, they wouldn't have gone after him because they don't know who he is. Even while he's going after them, they don't know who he is. Okay, so just go to Cassie and go, I shot your mom. I really wasn't myself, and I'm sorry. I apologize. And then the movie's over. And then, because this is one of the dumbest reasons a villain ever existed, is because people that don't know he's alive is coming after him. So anyway, Mustache Spider-Man, he's cursed because he took this spider. He's cursed the way Greg Brady is when he took the Tiki Idol. Exactly that way. So he's cursed. So he's got to get rid of these 3 women who don't know he exists. So Cassie finds out about the 3 women. There's Math Spidey, there's Glasses Spidey, and there's Skateboard Spidey. I really don't like Skateboard Spidey. Now, I understand, it's character, but the character is so awful that I was hoping something would happen to them so I wouldn't have to see them in a sequel that's never going to be made. Glasses Spidey and Math Spidey, they're fine. They have about as much charisma as someone that you just walked past in a mall. So, that's all I got out of that. So, Cassie finds him in the subway, and she rescues them. Okay, which I'm going to admit, I liked the subway scene, the whole Final Destination. He's coming after him and stuff. It was fine. It was a fun 5 minutes. So then they all run up, and Cassie steals a cab. Dakota, is that the actress's name? Dakota, I don't know, darker than gray movies. She drives this cab like when you give a child one of those plastic wheels in the passenger side, and they kind of pretend they're driving. It's almost worth the price of admission to watch her drive this cab and talk to three people behind. Any choices. So she takes him out in the woods, which is in the middle of nowhere, which in the middle of nowhere is only a half-mile away from a diner. And she says, hey, girls, I'm going to go find out everything about this bad guy. You stay here and don't make a scene. So she leaves, and then the three girls go into the diner and make a scene. Here's another thing. People don't dance on tables. People do not dance on tables. Two shy nerds don't dance on tables. Stop that, writers, because unless you're in a dive bar serving drinks with a bikini, you're not dancing on tables. So Cassie gets a vision of Mustache Spider-Man. He's going to kill them. How does she get that? Because she finds a box under the bed where her mom wrote a book about everything you need to know about the bad guy, his strengths and weaknesses. Also, she has a vision. She talks to Mustache Spider-Man, talks to him just like Rey and Kylo did in The Force. We didn't know she could do that, but she can. Doesn't matter. So she goes and she stops Mustache Spider-Man from unaliving the three girls, and she takes them and they run off somewhere. And then a bunch of stuff happens that really has no bearing on the movie whatsoever. Something about another pregnant woman and Ben. Pepsi. So later on, she takes the three girls and they find themselves in a building full of fireworks. And I'm not kidding when I tell you that the villain is thwarted by fireworks and the end of Star Trek Generations. I haven't seen a villain thwarted by fireworks since Baywatch the movie. So he is taken out by fireworks in the end of Star Trek Generations, and Cassie is hit in the face with a firework and it blinds her. So at the end of the movie, Pepsi, also Mustache Spider-Man is killed by a giant neon P. I don't know why. Parker? I don't know why. So later on at the end of the movie, Cassie is blind. She's sitting in front of a window a la Birds of Prey, like Lady Xavier, and the three spider ladies come in, and Cassie looks over and says, bless you, and then Math Spidey goes, achoo, and that's just Cassie showing off her powers that she's completely mastered within days. So then, here's the deal about the costumes and the powers. A long time ago, my kids wanted to see Snow Dogs because they saw a commercial where the dogs talked. And they thought, man, I want to go see a movie with talking dogs. And we go there, and the main character gets knocked unconscious 3/4 of the way through the movie. Mind you, this is past an hour with kids sitting here when the talking dogs gets knocked out, and the dogs talk to him while he's unconscious for about a minute. That's what they're showing you when they show the costumes and the powers. It's in a vision that Mustache Spider-Man has and Cassie has, and you're going to be superheroes. No, you're not, because in the sequel that's going to be made, you're never going to see these women in character. But that's what the costumes are. Anyway, that's the movie. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not going to see it again. But it's not like this movie didn't give me herpes, but I'm not going to see it again. So anyway, that's my review. Take it as you want.